Hey there, fellow mages, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Mind Over Magic, the Final School. Episode 19, Working Towards a Hospital Ward. Right at the start of the stream, I'm going to have you guys decide what the current goal is. If you would like for me to work on the best possible staff dining, you can vote for 2. If you want the Better House Commons, you can vote for 1. If you voting for 3 would mostly mean making sure the scavenger is getting what he needs for his apprenticeship, because we already have a mage to start making quilted beasts. Summon another refining beast would be the bird, if you want to summon the bird. We're already building an archive, but if you vote for build a library, that's going to allow us to tune better relics and attune faster. Expanding the greenhouse, because there's a lot more that we could possibly farm here. So that's a reasonable goal as well. We could also have my choice or your choice. So I'll give you 2.5 minutes to vote on that. So as it stands now, we have about 89 Gnosis shards, which is pretty good. What we also did was we were working on trying to get a replacement for Matic. So Badger eventually replaced Macho, but there's no real need to retire Macho just yet. And then Jackal will potentially replace Avalka. And then Matic is potentially getting replaced by Dife. Potentially. I say potentially because Dife is kind of like a compromise. At the end of last stream, we did try to summon in something like 14 Earth Mages. It got kind of ridiculous. And I'm not really sure we're really done with that, but... Alright. Another thing I'd like to do is let's do a quick catch-up on trials. Let's make sure that nobody has outstanding trials that need their trials done. So... Oh, you can attune to something. Okay. Cool. And I'll also check relics as well, making sure that all the relics that can be attuned are attuned. So Jackal has a bunch of relics that needs attuning, but is done with trials. I'm not going to have another trial, because I don't intend to have Jackal get a level 2 wand. And the reason for that is the victory requirements for conviction for level 2 wands are kind of annoying. Omri does indeed have Great Day left, and then also Dancing Queen, which will be on sooner or later. Opinion has Reaper Bronze, Rested Ritualist, and Sleep Focuser. So Opinion is going to join me down here for Reaper. The reason I'm clearing this out is I need more stone in order to actually make the Sculpt Stone that I'm looking for. And for that, we need to kill some stuff. So instead of normal classes, we'll have Opinion and his professors go down into the dungeon. Alright, looks to me like Expanded Libraries is going to be the name of the game. So after we make an archive, we're going to make a library. And what's important about that is to figure out exactly what the room requirements are, and then to plan accordingly. So right at the start, there is the library, which is the basic version, and the Atheneum, which is the upgraded version. The Atheneum needs to be towered, whereas the library does not. It needs to be silent, which means not adjacent to classrooms, ritual rooms, workshops, or rec rooms. And then the Atheneum needs to be towered. Got it. I'll brainstorm that. I think we probably need to go up a level, to be honest, go more vertical, but we could decide on that a little bit later. Oh, and Omri just got Great Day. Perfect. Alright, Somatic is sitting on lava, and we are hoping to get Killing Blow 3 times, which is a little tricky because I doubt he's particularly strong. Yeah, it's going to be a little challenging because he's, all the other mages that we have do too much damage to wound. And... I'm going to put Opinion in the front row. I probably shouldn't have casted that. Let's see. I really can't do anything. Okay, I'm just gonna kill one, I guess. And I managed to kill two. Good job, me. Alright, let's do earth armor. And then we can get some vengeance attacks. Alright, so you got one of his reavers. And I'm just gonna end this fight because the lava's like eating him alive and he doesn't have a big health pool. Plus he had no mana left. Really, really, really poor showing. The thing is, I also initiated a fight for the stone, access to the stone, because we need stone for the sculpt stone. So even though it was like not a great fight, at least we got some material. Let's see. So towered. Back to the Atheneum. Because this is, once we get a little bit more sculpt stone, this is going to be our archive. It's tiny, but it will work. Towered means left, right, or above, but not below. What I could try to do is to place it, like, here, right above the greenhouse. That is not entirely unreasonable. So that might be what I end up doing. Badger, why are you famished? Your diet should be just, like, live animals, so... Yeah, Wolfkin eats dire rats and there's 20 available, or Crow and there's 7 available. Okay, so he's famished just because he's been busy. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. I'm going to... Oh, that is unsupported. I did not realize. Maybe what I'll do if that's the case is change where the bridge is in the farm to, like... Because this is unsupported because there's a bridge at the end. Put the bridge in the middle. The problem with putting the bridge in the middle is it's going to severely restrict how much we could grow. If I did a support column, I could, but then I'd have to get rid of the stuff grown. Well, I guess I could put the support column right there. I mean, I do ultimately have the iron for it, which is the bottleneck. So maybe I'll just do a support column, and I can, of course, redesign it later on for better supports, but I don't really need to worry about that too much. So yeah, let's try to put the archive up here. If it needs to be towered, it can't share a wall with the infirmary. And I think I was planning on trying to get the infirmary set up so that it's like a full-fledged medical ward, or whatever the top tier is. And I think that's what I want to do before I put that in, because if the infirmary needs to grow to the east in order to accommodate more structures, it's going to be important to do that now. Which means harvesting the spore shrooms. Oh, and we have a full trapdoor vine. Okay, so I'm going to send Scavenger over to the trapdoor vine because it's going to be important for us to amass the thorn tooth. So that's sort of the plan, is to put a archive over here, and I can also use this wall as a support. Put an archive here that can become an Atheneum, which will satisfy all the requirements. So in terms of hospital ward, if we make that the room goal, this needs to be private, which means if this becomes an archive, it cannot have a door shared here. So it means, like, stairwell up from the conservatory. Actually, that's another thing, is eventually I don't believe the conservatory is the best rec for staff, right? Because they ultimately get the, well, I guess they can have both, right? We could also potentially put it here somewhere, because there's a large potential for the area here, or even here if I want to make that towered. I thought I had a bunch of cleaning quilted beasts. No, I don't, because I'm out of viscera. That's because nobody's hunting. Well, just a bunch of problems to fix. And then, of course, that summoned a gremlin as well. Yeah, we need to fix this kitchen situation. It is filthy. So, back to what I was doing. In order to get a hospital ward, we need 5 medical beds, 4 incense burners, 2 tincture shelves, and 2 medicinal carts, and 3 large windows. So I'm working on the 3 large windows now by getting that spore cap harvested. I think I'm going to force Scavenger to do a bit of like an all-nighter so that I can get these spore shrooms, knowing full well he'll be like itchy or whatever, but that's fine. And yeah, there is Spectral Core as well, messing in the basement. That's because we haven't processed their brains fast enough, I suppose, after killing them and hunting them. I do have room for one more student. So, question for you guys is, what element to summon? Should I keep trying to get the most ideal Earth replacements for Matic possible, or should I change it up and go for a different class? I'll leave that up to you. So this will be the first room, like the first, like, I would say endgame advanced room, because it's the highest order of room types. You know, it doesn't get better than the hospital ward, that we have for our school, which is nice. Glitch, thank you for the cheer. And Darianatai, thank you for the resub. God, more oozes. Okay, well... That is also because I don't have anyone cleaning up. That, I think, was a result of trials. Did we finish the cleanup trials? I think we did. And that's entirely my fault. Now that those trials are done, alright, priority, clean, normal, and then for now, break firewall, emergency clean so that the oozes stop spawning. Because they're breaking the kitchen, it is now a scullery as a result. Because it lost luxury that it needed. And it looks like you guys want some earth as well. More earth. We don't have an earth 1 wand. So let's get another earth 1 wand. And then, as far as the level 2 wands go, I think I had some rested ritualist. Yes, so Opinion has a rested ritualist, so I'll give him the Earth 2 wand once he wakes up. And then... I forget who the other one was for. Well, maybe it'll be for the next nature mage that we got. I think it was originally for Dife, under the assumption that we're keeping Dife, but that might not be true. And I'm going to raise Jackal's Destruction because we have a bunch of Croa, like, nests cropping up. I didn't realize it could take over Pathstone. So I guess that Pathstone's really not doing anything. So we have 9 Sculpstone, and the hang-up is... honey. Honey drop. Okay, we also just researched Domesticated Magic, which gives us the ability to make runewood, better bookshelves and the like. Let's research... That's some pig. Because at some point, the Lavalina Sty is going to be an important refining beast to get as well. So unlocking all the recipes for the Lavalina would be great. And we'll see. It's very possible that this room's going to increase in size. Because I don't think it's going to be able to fit everything that we need. Unless, like, I put a bridge up here and use this space. But this roof was never intentionally permanent. So that might be a bad idea. A blighted mana lantern. Okay. So that means we need to fight 2 fights, probably. Because I think this next fight is not the Mana Lantern one. Opinion. You're rested, but like not for much longer. So the plan is to bring Opinion down there and to have him rest, do the ritual, get a level 2 wand, and then get more of his Reaper cred. Because of all of the mages that I have right now, I think he's the only one that needs those kind of kills. Opinion needs Rested Ritualist and Reaper. Snarf needs to dance, needs to sleep. Oh, no, Dife needs the fight too. But the Dife really isn't a high level yet. So it'd be best to wait for Dife to get a little bit more experience anyway, I think. Will it be a gifted Earth Mage? It could be. I haven't had a lot of luck trying to get gifted mages. But I'm not necessarily against the idea. Dragon Walk just broke. Well, the good news is we are cleaning up the room. The bad news is the damage has already been done. So the problem is without the Dragon Walk, we're not going to be able to feed anyone. So I'm going to get that repaired right away. So Opinion just slept, and now that he is topped up his sleep meter, we'll give him the Earth 2 wand and then bring him into the fight. Maybe you had bad luck with Earth Mages because they weren't gifted? Well, that's not how the game works. Gifted just means extra relic slot. Nothing more. Doesn't affect the stats. The stats, if it wasn't already apparent to you guys, is dependent upon a little bit of randomness and also the species that they are. So, for instance, if you want a high HP Earth Mage, you need one that's probably vivified. So what you're hoping to do is get a vivified or possibly a human with fast speed. Oh, come on! How is there still more? Alright, you know what? I am so tired of this. Hey, guess what? Everybody! Critical clean. Everyone cleans. Clean all that grime, that rancid, nasty grime. Spring cleaning, completely forced. Alright, Opinion just got his Rested Ritualist. And everything that needed to be clean was, surprise, surprise, clean. So Darzan, you're going to be responsible for cleaning here on out. So with the Rested Ritualist done, I will have Breakfire. And how about this? Should the student be gifted? So keep in mind that I don't have an infinite Gnosis Shards. So every gifted student that we summon in costs Gnosis Shards, and then apprenticeships cost Gnosis Shards, and so on and so forth. There's a whole bunch of needs for Gnosis Shards, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so Opinion's coming in. He needs to deal double damage via terrain or weakness 6 times, and unfortunately there's no... So I'm not even going to bring him into this fight, because I don't think it's worth it. These guys are weak to air, and I don't really have an air mage to fight them. Belcher's weak to earth and dark, so maybe I bring her earth in? But at this point, we're just trying to get to the Tormented Whispers, blighted Mana Lantern. And luckily, I don't have anyone with a tier 3 wand. I know how damaging a tier 3 wand can be on Conviction, and we don't really have the infrastructure to support tier 3 mages, which is exactly why I am not going to bring myself to put that in. Alright, it looks like regular level 1 wands is what it's going to be for. And I need stone to make a wand. Let's see. Normally I would tank, but taking 2 of them out first round is kind of nice. Ooh, and a crit too? Let's even do a flow. I don't really want to get that hurt. There. Tank. And fight's over. Alright, we got a little bit of stone, but obviously we're going to need to go deeper into the spine to clear out this mana lantern, so that's what we're going to do next once they get a little bit of R&R. Oh, we processed our first frost glass. Sweet. So I haven't forgotten, one of the purposes of getting the refining beast was to get plinths. And in order to make a plinth, we need 60 more stone, but I do have the sculpt stone. And of course, the room that we're actually trying to build, the relic room, needs, well, it needs at least one plinth and then a whole bunch of luxury. So the impressive luxury is going to be a bit of a challenge because I didn't leave myself a lot of space. There's a lot of impressive luxury that can be offered with, once you have a bunch of sculpt stone, but therein lies the problem of getting sculpt stone. Alright, here we go. Mana Lantern. So this Mana Lantern will absorb 2 attacks. Let's see. Darzan and then Medic on the other side. These are also weak to Earth. So this might be the time for Opinion to come in to cast Earth spells to weaken the Lantern Keeper for those crits. It's probably be a tough fight, but, I think they're up for it. So then we need 2 more incense burners up here. And I'll just, line the roof with it. Oh, a spectral crow. Oh my god. And then 2 medicinal carts and 2 tincture shells. So the medicinal carts are going to be the tricky one because I don't have honey drop or mandrake root. I do have the iron, but just barely. So in order to get those, I'll try to harvest as much honey drop and mandrake as I can. There's one of the crits. Ouch, Opinion doesn't have a lot of health pool. And then if I get Reaper cred on him, oh god, he's gonna die. That would be awesome. Opinion, do you happen to have a potion on? No, you really don't. Okay, that's scary. Earth armor, because if you don't earth armor, you're toast. Oh, he got knocked out. Well, this is actually pretty useful, because what I can do as a result of his KO is show the process of recovery with scars. Unfortunately, he's not a student that we were planning on keeping forever. Oh, Avalka got tapped as well? That's not good. Alright, so the way this works is, and I knew this, I figured it was going to be a tough fight, I didn't realize it was going to be that close. We now need to rescue them to the bed. So, one, you get knocked out like that, you're at death's door. And the way Death's Door works is you will die without a revival ritual at a medical bed. So if we click on any of these medical beds, we can do that ritual, but what's going to be required is that we bring them first. So I'm going to have Badger come down here and rescue Opinion, and then Matic is going to rescue Avalka, and we're going to bring them up to the bed and then perform the ritual. Now, the other thing with the ritual there is the cost. I have plenty of wormweed pods, so actually it's fine. I was initially worried about that, but it's not a big deal. And this is one of the reasons why you should definitely get a hospital. So, Avalka is going to have trauma. as a result of, you know, being tended to. And I'll have Breakfire do the ritual because he can pass through the floor and collect the materials quickly. And then Matic is healing, and Opinion is being carried. So Opinion is going to be able to get a ritual soon too. Breakfire would have been the fastest rescuer. I mean, okay. Thanks for that information, I guess. All right, the other medical bed, we'll have, let's say, Darzan run it. And then you trigger a ritual. And in Avaka's case, the ritual's done. And if we take a look at her mage sheet, she has a trauma of minus HP and conviction for 6 days as a result of being at death's door. I could just suck down a whole bunch of potions, but I'm going to refill the bed and have her recover quicker. Darzan, are you actually... You're carrying Wormweed Pod. I wish I could tell if you're carrying all 12 or not. You are. Good. Okay. So we rescued both. And there we go. And Opinion's trauma is... same. Floundering belief. The good news is the stupid thing is gone. The blighted Mana Lantern. So, a good result all the same. But if you don't bring in enough firepower, that's a pretty typical thing to have happen. So back to what I was originally saying. For us to be able to build what we need Honey Drop and Mandrake Root, which I am setting as a super high priority. The other thing is we have need for a bunch of Viscera. And I'm going to emergency priority hunting. I know Avalka's quite hurt, so in Avalka's case, I'm going to have her drink a potion. And this is so that we can make the Quilted Beasts that we need because we weren't getting them. And the lack of them caused some damage and things aren't being hauled, etc., etc. Alright, Omri is basically ready to graduate as soon as fully trained. Snarf needs to dance and get fully trained. And I think for now, I'm not going to queue up any more research. I'm going to keep research empty so that we can get other things done, prioritizing other tasks. Now, if these Quilted Beasts are... no, the chests aren't full. I have a hard time believing that everything is stored, though. Yeah, like Spore Shrooms. Why aren't these being stored? But these Quilted Beasts can't go anywhere. Right, I forgot about that change. Therein lies a bigger problem. I thought I had stairwell here. Like, I vaguely remember building one here, but then it's not here, so let's fix that. It's, so it's, I think it's because of the roof. I have to make a lot of changes to get the access to that. So get rid of the roof, and then slant the roof the other direction, which really honestly makes no difference, and then get those stairs in. There. Oh, it's even wonkier. Alright. Break fire. Let's have you construct. And get a private dining room back. Yeah, I deleted it last stream and I forgot about it, so we obviously need to fix it. It's almost done. And now the Quilted Beasts are going to be able to actually do work, because I forgot that they were, like, Loki stranded. So private dining room is back. The stairs don't interrupt the dining room anymore. It does look like, well, we've actually replenished a lot of the wood that we didn't have. And we're getting ooze again. One of the advantages of having your Quilted Beasts, or not Quilted Beasts, your Refining Beasts not in formal rooms is they won't attract oozes. So, like, moving this guy, the Chrome Bug, down, like, here, if I could fit him, because this isn't an actual room, or I could break the room designation to prevent this from being a room by putting in, like, a support column like that. That way it's not enclosed and won't attract gremlins and won't attract oozes. There's a bit of an advantage to that sometimes, because the refining speed of the Quilted Beast doesn't really matter if it's in a room or not. Or, sorry, Refining Beasts. Okay, back on task. So Darzan has about a level left of water. Scavenger has almost no dark and a lot of nature. Jackal has just a little bit of fire. So the apprentices are actually pretty close to leveling up. And then the other thing is, I haven't forgotten about the lack of an Earth Wand. It looks like we finally have it. So as soon as we get... Alright, the Quilted Beasts are able to now move about the school. And I will shrink these windows. But now, as you can see, lighting here doesn't matter, filth here doesn't matter, clutter here doesn't matter. So there is not going to be an issue with the refining bug creating problems or anything like that. Really, as I'm staring at you, huh? Seems to me like I need more sinew for more refining. And sinew just happens to be at like the bottom of the list here, so I'm going to raise it up. And I'll put a an extra sinew requirement on the third midden jelly. Well, we have a bunch of frost glass now, and sculpstone sitting around. And all the Quilted Beasts we wanted, because the other faculty couldn't actually gain access to the atelier, or the workshop rather, because of where it was placed. So now it's in a better spot. Alright, back to what I was originally working on. And I know it's like, oh god, a whole bunch of spectral craw. I know it's a whole, like, long list of things that need to come first before we're ready. But if we take a look at what we ultimately need for the hospital, we need the medical carts. So we have the Mandrake root now. It's just honey drop. The problem with the honey drop is we're competing with sculpstone. So I'm going to pause sculpstone because the sculpstone is eating up all the honey drops. And I'm going to guess Avalka being laid up in bed for as long as she was, she has not been cooking because we are facing a lack of food. So I'm getting her out of the hospital bed to cook us up some meals. One of the issues with recovering in the hospital for as long as you do, you can end up without food if you rely on one person for that. But I can see the famished is going away. Yep, the last person that was famished is now recovered. We don't care, you almost died, we're hungry? Yeah, something like that. I'll let her rest now. So for more frost glass, and the reason to get frost glass is frost glass allows us to make the large windows. So speaking of which, now that we're starting to acquire frost glass, the reason why you'd want frost glass is you can use frost glass in lieu of all the other materials for the large windows to go for huge windows. So here is like a huge window. It's 10 frost glass and 10 runewood. And I'm going to start researching towards it because that's going to allow us to satisfy the requirements of certain rooms like house commons or hospitals or stuff like that with just one big window, one mega window. And finally, Breakfire has a break, and we're trying for yet another Earth Mage, as if we have amnesia about all the Earth Mages we've already summoned. Okay, we have Jacqueline. Jacqueline has D-Speed, which is worse than Dife. So she's tankier than Dife, but slower than Dife, which is ultimately less interesting. Because Earth Mages should have high health, and their highest stat should be health, and their second highest stat should be speed, so that they can cast their taunts early on in a fight, so that other people aren't getting, like, nuked. So we'll train her, but only really for the Nasa shards, and raffle timer's up for her. So Neatnik, Bitter Gruel Eater, Creature Comforter. So let's... Omri, I don't think you need to be on a special food schedule anymore, so let's take Omri off of his special food schedule, and then put her on one. So she wanted Bitter Gruel, I think? Is that right? Yeah. So I queued her up to only Bitter Gruel, and then as soon as she gets level 1 water magic, I'll set her up for super high priority clean so that we can satisfy her Neatnik. So I have almost no honey drops. What I could do in this case to speed things along is I'm going to commandeer Scavenger to go harvest all the honey drops he can, neglecting his lessons, so that I can get those medicinal carts sooner and then move on to the archive and the Atheneum. Oh, and he got out there and, like, promptly ran out of mana. Because of course he would. I should have been paying more attention and been like, oh, you're low on mana, refill now. So we don't really need the Mandrake Roots as much, so I'm going to... Oh, don't destroy it, just cancel harvest. And instead, Breakfire, grab the Spore Caps. Timer froze again? What is going on with the timer? I don't know why it goes for like 7 seconds and is just like, eep. So we almost have the honey drops for one. I highly doubt we're gonna get honey drops for any of these battles down here. No. I'll just fill in for Scav and grab that. Oh, 24 out of 25? You're killing me. Oh god, and now that a storm is raging, we have to make sure the honey drops are hauled in before they go poof. So none of these students are yet ready for graduation. But Jackal is like moments. Jackal will probably be ready to be hired as faculty in like maybe today. Gremlin. I thought I got quilted carriers. And that's where all my sinew's going, FYI, is like straight into the quilted carriers. So one more honey drop for the med cart. And honey drops are one of those ingredients that are like really useful no matter what, because you make a lot of food out of them, so it's worth growing a whole lot more of them. I was kind of hoping for the quilted beasts that will help with growing, though, because that would make a world of difference, like the plant tenders and the harvesters. And there we go. That's the honey drops I need. I'm going to stop getting the mandrake to get that at least. Thank you for tuning in to Mind Over Magic, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me or feedback, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord to take part in the events, a link can be found in the description of this video or on my website. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, fellow mages.